In our last installment of Fact-Checking 10 Lies You Were Told About Islam, we saw the wildly popular YouTube channel All Time Tens do an absolutely spot-on impression of a spineless Western politician or a gullible CNN anchor. They perfectly nailed the whole, "I'm so dumb I can't pour water out of a boot even if there are instructions on the heel" attitude we've come to expect from nearly everyone who tries to tell us about Islam. But All Time Tens keeps the parody going by fabricating Quran verses. Responding to the claim that the Quran commands Muslims to kill non-Muslims, All Time Tens declares,
"The Quran specifically says the opposite, stating one who kills a non-Muslim person under protection will not even smell the fragrance of paradise. And whoever hurts a non-Muslim, I shall be adversary to him on the day of resurrection."
Now you can read the Quran until your brain melts. You're not going to find these verses. For you doubters out there, I'll once again demonstrate my level of confidence by proclaiming that I will bow down and recite the Shahada if you can find these verses in the Quran. Much like the Shahada and Islam's 5 daily prayers, these quotations don't come from the Quran, they come from the Hadith. And this is hilarious because these quotations don't even sound like they come from the Quran. Anyone who's spent any amount of time reading the Quran can spot the style difference instantly. So, someone who attributes them to the Quran might as well wear a sign around his neck saying, "I'm as sharp as a bowling ball." But attributing these quotations to the Quran is a minor blunder compared to how the meanings are distorted. All Time Tens makes the quotations sound as if they're about being nice towards non-Muslims. Let's take a closer look. The first supposed quotation, again, is,
"One who kills a non-Muslim person under protection will not even smell the fragrance of paradise."
This is a fairly common hadith that can be found in several collections. I'll read one from Sunan an-Nasai. Sunan an-Nasai 4753. The Prophet said, "Whoever kills a man from among Ahl ad-Dimma, he will not smell the fragrance of paradise, and its fragrance may be detected from a distance of 70 years. Notice the Ahl ad-Dimma part. This is about dhimmis. It says nothing about non-Muslims in general. The other supposed Quran quotation is also about dhimmis. Listen to this distortion.
"Whoever hurts a non-Muslim, I shall be adversary to him on the day of resurrection."
Sounds like it's about non-Muslims generally, right? This hadith is more obscure than the other, but you can find it quoted in a number of books where it's attributed to Al-Khatib. The hadith actually says, "Whoever hurts a dhimmi, I am his adversary, and I shall be an adversary to him on the day of resurrection." Once again, this is about dhimmis. What's a dhimmi? A dhimmi is a non-Muslim living in an Islamic area who's agreed to pay the Muslim community in exchange for not being killed and for being able to continue practicing Christianity or Judaism. The Jews of Khaybar are a good example here. In Sahih al-Bukhari 23:38 we read, "When Allah's messenger had conquered Khaybar, he wanted to expel the Jews from it as its land became the property of Allah, his messenger, and the Muslims. Allah's messenger intended to expel the Jews, but they requested him to let them stay there on the condition that they would do the labor and get half of the fruits. Allah's messenger told them, 'We will let you stay on this condition as long as we wish.' So the Jews agreed to stay on the land and do all the work, but they would give half of their annual produce to the Muslim community. This contribution was called jizya. We read about jizya in the Quran, Surah 9, verse 29, a verse you should be memorizing. "Fight those who believe not in Allah, nor the last day, nor hold that forbidden which hath been forbidden by Allah and his messenger, nor acknowledge the religion of truth from among the people of the book, until they pay the jizya with willing submission and feel themselves subdued." The Quran says that jizya is accepted from among the people of the book. Dhimmi status was only open to monotheists who had received a book from God. Polytheists had much more limited options. So Jews and Christians had a privileged status that they could continue practicing Judaism and Christianity provided they paid the jizya. Even though paying jizya was better than being killed, it was still a sign of humiliation. In the introductory hadith of Book 56, Chapter 88 of Sahih al-Bukhari, Muhammad says, "My livelihood is under the shade of my spear, and he who disobeys my orders will be humiliated by paying jizya." Ibn Kathir, Islam's most respected Quran commentator, explains jizya as follows in his commentary on Surah 9, verse 29. Paying jizya is a sign of kufr and disgrace. Allah said, until they pay the jizya, if they do not choose to embrace Islam, with willing submission, in defeat and subservience, and feel themselves subdued, disgraced, humiliated, and belittled. Therefore, Muslims are not allowed to honor the people of Dhimma or elevate them above Muslims, for they are miserable, disgraced, and humiliated. So, why weren't Muslims allowed to kill dhimmis? Umar, one of Muhammad's closest companions and the second of the rightly guided caliphs, explains why in Sahih al-Bukhari 3162. We said to Umar bin al-Khattab, O chief of the believers, advise us. He said, I advise you to fulfill Allah's dhimma, financial obligation, made with the dhimmi, as it is the dhimma of your prophet and the source of the livelihood of your dependents, i.e. the taxes from the dhimmi. It's the source of the livelihood of your dependents. Dhimmis are where you get the money to feed your families. Dhimmis are the people funding the Muslim community. This is why Muhammad said, my livelihood is under the shade of my spear. Now, if dhimmis are the best, most reliable source of income for the Muslim community, should a Muslim be allowed to go kill them, decreasing the income of the Muslim community? Imagine a restaurant owner who pays the mafia protection money. Will the mob boss let one of his underlings go kill the restaurant owner? Of course not. Why? Because the mob boss loves the restaurant owner so much? No, that's where the money comes from. It's the same in Islam. So, the ahadith quoted by all-time tens, which the video makers think come from the Quran, are about not killing Jews and Christians who have agreed to pay the Muslims protection money. But the video makes it sound as if Muslims just aren't allowed to harm any non-Muslims. Unfortunately for all-time tens, both the Quran and the Hadith have plenty to say about fighting non-Muslims who aren't dhimmis. The sad part here is that this section of the video is supposed to be responding to the claim that Muslims are commanded to kill all non-Muslims. And that's actually a false claim. Muslims are not commanded to kill all non-Muslims. We've just seen, for instance, that Christians and Jews were allowed to live even in a Muslim state as long as they paid for that right. But instead of going through the Muslim sources and explaining what Islam teaches about unbelievers, All-Time Tens shares a couple of ahadith they found in a Google search, pretends these quotes are found in the Quran, and distorts the meanings. These guys haven't even been subjugated and they're already acting like dhimmis. I think a couple of villages are missing their idiots. Anyway, that's two. Should I keep going or move on to something much more difficult, like rearranging my sock drawer? I kind of feel like I'm clubbing a baby seal here. Let me know in the comment section.